Hey y'all, welcome back to DiamondTrail Ranch. If you're new here, we are a small family homestead out in sunny Florida. We do gardening and raise animals on just under 2 acres. We are just shy of 2 acres. We started this journey in 2022 with nothing but some broken fencing, borrowed tools, and big dreams. Now, we're growing more food in less space than we ever thought possible. Stick around because in this video, you'll not only get real tips that work, I've also got a surprise for you. Somewhere in one of these garden pots is a big old spider that scared the heck out of me, and later we catch a live bee on camera pollinating one of the flowers in our bed over there. It's next to the raised beds. That's real life homesteading for you. Bugs, bees, sweat, and harvesting. Let's get into it. So the first big tip, if you're trying to grow more in less space, is understanding your land. That's what this walk around is about today. I'm showing you the pawpaw and the pomegranates over here. I was showing you the corn and the carrots on the front of the property and tomatoes on the front. We're doing a walk around today of everything to show you what you can do on less than 2 acres. Whether you have to, open up some area, that's a whole nother topic, but I'm showing you that we're working with less than 2 acres here. We have lots of animals, lots of garden spread out. Before you even start planting, you want to observe your sun patterns. Very important. We had to have this hedge trimmed back at the top because of that, because of where the garden is. You need to know your shade pockets, where water collects after the rain. Every little detail matters on a small homestead. For us, the front yard gets strong morning sun. I mean, like, for real. And some afternoon shade. Perfect for leafy greens that bolt in the heat. The backyard and near the goat pen, they get full sun almost all day, but we have shade over there. That's where we plant tomatoes, squash, sweet potatoes. You can see over here we have our that's some corn, our limas, squash. I mentioned there's tomatoes over here, tons. We actually just started a huge amount of tomato cages we had to get to help support over here. Here's some beans. Lots and lots of vegetables. Understanding your microclimates, even on a small property though, you can double down and really get a huge harvest on what you grow without adding more raised beds at all. This over here is an in-ground garden. You can see the tomatoes. Everything here is in the ground. One of the biggest game changers for us, utilizing your land. And if you need to, vertical gardening. Go up. If you've only got limited ground space, go up, literally. We use bamboo sticks. I started working on some of the trellises with the cattle panels, where they go up. You might see it over here behind me. You can use anything, really, to be quick, cheap. Cucumbers, pole beans, tomatoes, mini melons, grapes. Not only does vertical growing save space, but it improves airflow. It keeps pests down, and it makes harvesting easier. So if you're not using trellises, you're missing out on a whole extra dimension of growing space. You just turned your 2 acres or half an acre or a quarter acre into such unused potential. You can also use your feed bags like we do. One of my favorite hacks that actually works is using old feed bags. With all the goats and horses we've got, we go through a ton of bags. I mean, a ton. And we started saving them as grow bags. Right now, we're growing yellow potatoes and russets in bags, and sweet potatoes filled with composted horse manure and aged bedding. They're perfect because they're sturdy. They drain well, and you can tuck them wherever, along the fence lines or in little corners. Just don't put them near your goats because they will think that they are still feed bags and not being used for other things. You can do the same thing with 5-gallon buckets, storage totes, old laundry bins. You could use an old porcelain toilet if you really wanted to. Clean it out first. You can literally use anything. You can. It's up to your imagination. If it can hold dirt or hold compost, you can put seeds in it, guys. It really doesn't matter if you have a 1/4 acre, unless your HOA tells you no, or 2 acres, or 50 acres. You know, the limits are yours. You can go up and use anything. You know, it's up to you also where you're going to put your garden too, though, as far as public view, if you're using a porcelain toilet, but that's a whole other topic. Somewhere in one of these feed bags where I spotted some nasty friends, you'll see here. It's kind of funny. Don't worry though, I kept filming anyway. So in our main garden, we built these. You can see them. I used old like field fencing and things like that, and I kind of just like lean it up on the regular fencing. You can use leftover lumber, leftover parts, leftover posts from old chicken coops. Intense, you know, you call it intensive spacing techniques. You skip wide row gaps. Excuse me. Instead, use every inch of soil. Carrots, beets, you know, your onions, your greens, all do really well when they're planted close together, as long as the soil is healthy. We follow, you know, the square foot gardening method in some beds. You really just get a, you know, any kind of tape measure. Sometimes you can use a cloth one. It just depends. 16 carrots per square, or 9 beets. Depends on what you have. Also, this lets you harvest way more from a small bed if it is small. So with good compost, there's no nutrient lost. You don't need acres to feed your family. You just need good soil, good planting, and a little sweat. I'm showing you the reality of everything. See, I don't filter out, you know, plants that need, you know, maintenance. I just picked up some copper fungicide and neem oil. So I'm going to be, and we've got tomato cages. We're standing up everything right after this content here. You spray in the morning with the neem oils and the copper. It is a copper fungicide that has been diluted enough that it can be used as long as the sun's not out or it's above 85 degrees. So we'll be testing that with some of the powdery mildew that we have going on. That is incredibly common in humid climates like ours. You can see our tomatoes here, the banana trees, marigolds. The marigolds have they help with pollinators, bringing the pollinators in. I actually have a few scattered in the garden also. We have tons of beans, lots and lots of beans, the various beans, lima beans, green beans, different pole beans, you know. Companion planting, there's kind of some of that going on. You know, you keep things close to your corn and stuff like that. We often pair, you know, we have basil up in the front. We got tomatoes by the basil. That can help repel pests. Kind of showing you where the sun is here. The hedge was to my right. I had to trim it down. There's a pomegranate right in front of me here. 2 of them actually. One in the corner there, little one, and this one right in front of me. There's the hedge, and the sun comes right over that and hits this garden. So it gets plenty of sun, plenty of shade as well. Marigolds go around pretty much everything around here. They confuse nematodes and bugs. Great for pollinators too. Here's your irrigation system. You can use a hose and a pole, not hard. You know, you can. This companion gardening also makes the best salsa garden. You know, that's a great term for it. There's some reality of the bee. Did you see that? That was cool. Marigolds go around everything because they confuse the nematodes, like I said. They don't seem to do anything for stink bugs, though, unfortunately. In another bed, we do the Three Sisters method. You do your corn for height, your beans for nitrogen, and your squash to shade out weeds. It's efficient, it's proven, and it works beautiful in small spaces. We also use the duck water for nitrogen as well. Horse manure that's not hot, chicken manure that's not hot, rabbit, same thing, all of them. Make sure it's not hot because it can be too acidic for all of your animals. like, you know, the Three Sisters method is great. Like for the bee you saw as an example, when pollinators come in, you create a whole ecosystem. It's really cool. One thing we do differently, like I just mentioned, that's why I'm showing the horses and donkey here, is we use every animal system to our advantage. The ducks, they are messy. There's no doubt about that. But their water is legitimate liquid gold. Every time we change the pools, you know, we dump the old water onto the trees, the berry bushes, and the garden beds. I'll dump it directly onto the weed fabric barrier we have over in the other garden, because it's got the drainage, you know. It's full of nitrogen and microbes that fertilize naturally. It's got everything you need. Take a bag of fertilizer when next time you go to the big box stores and look at the first like 2 ingredients. It's almost always poultry manure. It's kind of funny. I mean, and obviously they sell straight poultry manure too, chicken manure. That not everybody has, you know, access to chickens or whatever, or ducks. That's why they do that. Typically, if you're running on maybe a quarter or half acre, you don't have the room for that. Here's some habaneros. You're about to see my spider friend soon. Scared the lights out of me for a second. Dad fueled coffee there. These are, you know, they got some weeds in there. It's okay. It's the habanero plants with them. In zone 10A, I will say that, you know, we're lucky to grow almost year round. So you try to practice succession planting with that. As soon as one crop finishes, you just kind of keep going. That guy was actually pulled out there, that pepper. That's okay. We'll come back and save it. I have lots of habanero plants growing as well, lots of peppers in general, which is really cool. Goat manure too, by the way. Chicken droppings, like I mentioned. You compost what you can. Reuse everything. These pots, the seeds didn't take off in them. Excuse me. So I'm like, well, let's just take this compost and pour it into the potato bags, right? You compost everything. Deep bedding from the coop, straws from the goat pens, leaves from the yard. Leaves from your yard is gold too. Let that stuff break down. We do have a ton of leaves though, so we do pick some of it up. You want to keep your compost active and turn it. It creates a constant supply of rich soil. The better your soil, the more you can grow in less space. So we are coming up on our right here. There it is. Oh, did you guys see that? That was the friend. How cool was that? Not cool at all, I'll tell you right now, because I was the one that experienced it. After your radishes, you can drop beans. After lettuce, your bush tomatoes. If you have raised beds that were growing spinach, you can swap it out with some squash. You can reuse each bed 2 to 3 times a year if you plant it right. Be mindful of the nitrogen dense stuff. Timing is more important than space. If you start your seeds indoors early or in trays, you can transplant them right after the previous crop. So last but not least, plant your perennials. We got lemon trees, we've got peaches, loquats, pomegranate, tangerines. When they're established, they give off food every year with minimal input. You know, we have the berries, blueberries, we've got raspberries, we've got blackberries. And those bushes will pay off season after season. The more food you get from your perennials, the less you need to replant. It'll save you time, energy, and space. So that's how we're doing it, growing more food and less space here at DiamondTrail Ranch. Whether you're working with a small yard, a few raised beds, or a couple acres like us, there's always a way to do more with what you have. And if you saw that spider earlier, let me know in the comments below what you would have done, because I almost dropped the camera. If you spotted the bee pollinating the flower, I hope it reminded you just how alive and connected all of this really is. If this video helped you out at all, be sure to like, share it, and subscribe for more real life homesteading content. And we will see you in the next one.